Welcome to the MIT at Innovation Program podcast. This is a repository of insights by thought leaders and practitioners of innovation where they speak about their views, insights, and experiences. Come join us.
On the occasion of MIT ID Innovation Program completing its first year of educating and nurturing innovators, we are pleased to have you join us at day 4 of the first ever Virtual Innovation Grad Show. The week-long Grad Show has several industry interactions lined up for our foundation cohort of innovators and the innovators class of 2020-21. A virtual send-off where the foundation cohort of innovators hands over the baton of innovation to the next batch to keep the creativity and energy flowing into the most impactful journeys ahead. Warm welcome to our guest speaker, innovator, Mr. Ward Bullard, Head of Education and Nonprofits at Mural, who works closely with academic institutions and community groups worldwide to bring visual collaboration to the classroom. An adjunct instructor at Stanford University's Hasso Plattner Institute of Design, the D.school, ex-Verizon, SAP, Google, Mertado, and now part of Groupon, Microsoft, and Harrah's entertainment in product, business, and marketing leadership roles. Past chair of the Stanford Athletics Board and co-founded the athletic department's technology advisory committee. Co-chair of Stanford's class of 2000 20th reunion campaign. He's on the Menlo Park Atherton Education Foundation board. He serves on the parent-teacher organization boards for both Oak Knoll Elementary School and Hillview Middle School. Advisor to the Positive Coaching Alliance, Deep Snap, the Portada, and the Aspen Institute's Project Play initiative. Ward graduated with degrees in both economics and history with honors from Stanford University and holds an MBA from Harvard University. A bit about Mural here. It is a digital workspace for visual collaboration, enabling innovative teams to think and collaborate visually to solve important problems. People benefit from Mural's speed and ease of use in creating diagrams, which are popular in design thinking and agile methodologies, as well as tools to facilitate more impactful meetings and workshops. Global enterprises have embraced visual collaboration to align their teams, plan in real time, speed up decision-making, reduce travel costs, and accelerate a culture of innovation. I, Priya Dhawan, Head of Collaborations, Branding and Outreach for the MIT ID Innovation Program, welcome you all once again to this thoughtfully curated innovation journey. Welcome once again, Ward, over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the extraordinarily kind introduction. I think I gave you too much information, or I maybe just do too much, so I need to cut back. I'm certainly very flattered and again honored to be here and participate in such an event. So thank you for having me, and good morning to everybody. Can you hear me all right? Is that okay? Is my audio okay?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Wonderful. So as somebody that definitely doesn't mind a little bit of back and forth, I would certainly want to make this session obviously as productive for the attendees as possible. So really at any point using either the chat functionality in Zoom or Q&A, and I asked the Team Priya, et cetera, to kind of keep an eye out on for it if I slip up here. Please don't hesitate to populate with a question or a point of clarification. I definitely want to make this as interactive as possible. And again, it would be obviously much better to be all together in person, but we're making the best out of this crazy world. So I'm going to, again, the nice introduction is share my screen here with you all and kind of walk you through a little bit of a welcome to me, but also to Mural. So again, I hope my screen sharing working okay, so everybody can see.
Yes,
everybody's eyes working. It's very small. No, I'll be zooming in. But this again is a mural that I've organized that hopefully will give us a bit of a tour here around some of the capacities of the product and kind of also just again use this as a bit of a demonstration tour. So. As you know, was mentioned in the introduction, proud graduate of Stanford and Harvard. I've been giving back for the last 5 years. teaching at the design school. Hasso Plattner was kind enough to fund a one-of-its-kind program at Stanford that was really focused on what we call the cross-disciplinary exercise of innovation education. And like many great universities, Stanford fell into a situation where, like many organizations, including those that I've worked on here below, which was very siloed. And there weren't natural ways for both faculty and students, and I'd say the outside industry at large, to collaborate on multidisciplinary projects. And having read and learned about design thinking and some of the work that was coming out of IDEO, Hasso, together with Stanford, helped launch back in 2004, 2005, the Hasso Plattner Institute of Design. And in that time, the last 15 years, the program itself has grown. It is now obviously scaled to impact universities across the globe, embracing design thinking as a methodology for both students, but also executive education. And so was not lucky enough to be a student at the time that it was around, but certainly as somebody that has considered myself a lifelong learner and believing that to be a true character of a rich life, I threw myself full stop at the D.school and have been teaching classes again for the last 5 years there. When not hanging around my alma mater, I've been lucky to really work at the intersection of what I consider to be marketing, product, and technology. Some great companies, Google, and while I was there, helped launch the mobile app for YouTube, SAP, Verizon, among others. But over the last few months, I've had the pleasure, really since the beginning of the year, to join my friend Mariano and the team at Mural and be a part of the visual collaboration revolution. I actually first encountered Mural when it was called Mural back in 2015. Mural was a solution that are reshaping education, among others. One is obviously the world of remote learning is just absolutely skyrocketing. I mean, in the United States, we're having daily new universities that had a great ambition to open up back in person as we deal with this pandemic, having to quickly pivot back to remote teaching and providing their students kind of a methodology. And you're really seeing, I think, a separation of the schools that were preparing and planning to do that versus those that perhaps were really wishing for a panacea miracle, which of course did not come. I think the other part, we're seeing, on the far right here, I talk about collaboration as default. I think that I certainly look back to my own education, and while teamwork was a part of my curriculum, it was not at the center. I think a lot of the work was done much more individually with some activities that were done together, but for the most part individuals. And now I think as I again see kind of how the world has changed, particularly in the last few years, I think that there's more and more focus on team-based projects, and that's starting off in some of the both elementary and middle schools that I work with here in California, all the way, of course, through higher education. And finally, I think there's just a general acceptance that human-centered design is a part of really every process, and it should, the great companies and the great institutions are realizing that the days of design being done based on kind of solving problems as opposed to need finding are really unfortunately back in the proverbial Stone Ages. People are now much more focused on embracing kind of the idea and the mindset around what we call design thinking, and this kind of what I call Venn diagram that some of my colleagues at the D.school developed over the past few years. And it's really that intersection of both understanding what is technologically feasible and viable from a business standpoint, but having the same equal weight to human values, usability, desirability, UX, UI, components are not mere afterthoughts in product launches anymore. They really do have a true footing and a seat at the table as it pertains to any project process. And so with that, Mural is really, I think, been well positioned. I don't want to make this obviously any kind of an infomercial, but I do want to share with you all, that over the course of this, use of the product in educational environments. So that obviously I can't take credit for that, purely, or my team. Obviously, there are forces outside that are driving a lot of that, including, of course, COVID-19. But what we're seeing is a real strong growth in memberships. So these are students who are wanting to do work together with their classmates, perhaps guided by a faculty member, doing it in a visual virtual whiteboard like what Mural offers. And then similarly, the workspaces, so the actual locations of where that work is getting done from an education standpoint, have grown from roughly 250 a quarter, new each again 90 days, to now close to 2,000, and we'll cross for Q3 of this year, some number north of 2,000 workspaces. So again, just a real strong trend of again education and adoption, which is gives me great hope, right? As we all have probably spent more time, or at least I have, in Zoom or WebEx or Microsoft Teams video meetings. I like the action of doing. I like the action of exchanging ideas, but also being able to move ideas forward. And not everybody necessarily is a natural extrovert, and that was always a problem for me in my class design. I always struggled with, how does a very collaborative activity like design thinking allow those that perhaps are more quiet to have a ability to lend their ideas, provide their feedback and insights. And I think, again, getting visual with a platform like Mural is one way to do so. So Priya talked about some of these highlights. I'm not going to go through the text here. The company was actually founded in 2011. Lots of bumps and bruises along the way, but the founders stuck with this, and their hard work was rewarded at the beginning of the year with a sizable Series A venture investment from Google's Gradient Ventures, among others. We're now over 200 employees, and we are proudly based in the Bay Area, though we are, in these times, all remote. People working from all parts of the world to make Mural work for our customers. And yeah, I mean, I think that one of the aspects that, we wouldn't be in business if we weren't finding success, not only on the education side, but ultimately with corporations. So, large names like IBM or Fidelity or SAP, my former employer, Publicis, and a growing set of names, Google, Facebook, Under Armour, are joining kind of the Mural team as they seek to help innovation teams and project-focused groups stay innovative in a collaborative sense. So I don't see any questions right now, but I'll take a pause for the, again, great hosts that are providing me anything that I've glossed over that I should touch on, or shall I keep going?
We can continue, Ward, and we'll have the questions towards the end of the session.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. So, one of the things that, again, I want to give a sense and show you some action here. So obviously I'm using this a bit as a presentation, but this is now where we can get a little bit more action-based. So one of the natural parts, again, of a whiteboard is, the ability for us to do a whole host of different, activities on this one space. So for example, here is this area or section on the mural, and I can show you that there are a whole host of things that we can do here together as a group. So an example would be, I could come over here and I could grab a 2x2 and I could put that right over here, and we could suddenly do a 2x2 grid on kind of looking at ease of deployment of a new business concept. And we could look at it in terms of both amount of impact, but also difficulty level. So we can measure some of that aspect here. We can obviously, it would not be a whiteboard in a design thinking process without an ability to add sticky notes and, certainly get, creative and get, brainstorm, real time, adding sticky notes, etc. here into an area. if you wanted to, you could obviously also put together a series of elements and quickly build a flow chart, and we could stick those areas together here. We can just connect it here, and I can now connect these two areas together, and we can suddenly build some sort of organizational chart, or similar to what we see in Lucid charts or otherwise. We can grab icons. We have a huge icon library. And right now I'm about 10 miles from unfortunately a very sizable wildfire that's grown out of control here in California. So I can choose this icon to represent kind of the area we're in right now, and I'm going to fortunately choose red because very smoky out. Air quality is quite poor. I'm glad you are not in my neck of the woods right now. Furthermore, you can add images or GIFs. So we have a huge library of images that we can pull in. So for example, if I wanted to pull in the Stanford tree, which is our beloved school mascot, I could grab that as a picture right here. That's our crazy mascot for Stanford. And if I wanted to choose something that was a little more interaction, I could add GIF to, I don't know why it didn't pull over there properly, but if you can see over here, the tree is now moving. So that's its like GIF version. So we can play around with that setting too. And then you can obviously add files. So if I had a document that I wanted to add for my computer and I wanted to share with my group, and I'm just going to pull this really unattractive picture of this guy right here. I don't know why. Who would want to look at that? Yikes. Gotta close that. Nobody wants to see that. And then finally, obviously, if we're going to get illustrative, we got to be able to draw. So we can draw a teapot. As you can tell, my art skills stopped at around first grade elementary here. I'm not going to be accused of anybody that is headed to an art gallery or anything of the like. But ultimately, we can obviously come through there, and I can erase my content too. So those are some of the functionalities that, again, teams are using every day when they're collaborating in Mural. It lends itself to being a really nice and easy way for people to do some of that action and activity together. And again, my general sense right now is, as at least a young person at heart, I'm liking the ability to get productive in a way that isn't obviously the same as when we're all together, but ultimately affords some of those elements that I so desperately miss, and provides a platform for us to do that kind of work. So one of the things that, again, as somebody that likes to share about how is Mural being used from an education standpoint, and to think about some of the use cases here. So there are, obviously people who are degrees of comfort, and Mural was built with the idea that really it could be accessible to anyone. There's not an overwhelming set of features here. And I think that's something that one can really think about as good, agile best practices that are deployed in our product, really being very cognizant about not having feature bloat and other restrictions, which I think tend to really pull down some of the innovation impact abilities of products and great technology innovations out there. So we really think about is how can this work for people at different points in their proverbial journey. So in education, we have faculty members. This is Christine Moorman at Duke University. She's at the MBA program, the business school, and she's using Mural, really simply put, and again, I'll zoom in here. This is essentially just a welcome board. So her students, right, are used to having some sort of orientation, getting together, et cetera. And right now, the default is people following each other on social, on Instagram, or, connecting on Twitter, or, TikTok, or whatever platform. And certainly in a business school, LinkedIn is very used. Well, LinkedIn, right, only shows kind of a very professional side of you. So what Christine thought of was could we do something a little bit different where we use Mural as a place, a repository for these cohorts of students to get to know each other, and actually, again, share a little bit about their lives, both their accomplishments in a work context, where they're from, but also some of their interests so that students can kind of match up and find a way to connect. So that's kind of like what we call a tier 1, very easy way for people to kind of see their work being done and finding value in that together. And we call this like tier 2 of learning, where students start to use some of the frameworks I shared with you, a 2x2. There are a whole host of built-in frameworks within Mural. So for example, you might be doing an interview of somebody. Well, rather than you and your team taking notes and just trying to busily type things, you might be able to use a framework like this and have all of you interacting together, and not just, again, putting words down, but perhaps, you know, understanding emotions, screenshots, images, things that are brought up as part of that conversation. You can just quickly grab a framework like this, and you can throw that right into the heart of the product. So we find that to be something that, again, kind of is that next level of progression within kind of the learning model, right? You know, students, teachers alike are familiar. Now they're like taking the next step, and ultimately teachers might be developing their own proprietary templates. And then finally, we're seeing kind of, you know, what I say, like learning environments like this, where it's a mix of like instructional guidance, where a teacher or a student might be presenting, and instead of toggling between Google Slides or PowerPoint or Keynote, they're actually doing that share out and report out inside of Mural, but then also having abilities for students to get interactive and provide a critique environment. So I'll share with you what my friends here at Berkeley did for their final report out of their class. So hopefully this is still screen sharing okay. And it's, you know, again, it's a simple kind of set of murals with some slides, but then you get into like, what were the teams actually kind of, you know, sharing as their outcomes? And they're just very like, you know, raw, but yet, you know, kind of insightful, you know, kind of materials that are collaborated and collected in one place for all to join. And so you see here, like this whole feedback section. And again, this is all one large mural that my professor friend Jeff put together. And, you know, this was the way that, you know, he ran his class and he led his class. So you're seeing all sorts of really, really creative approaches to how people are thinking about using Mural in a learning environment. So one of the aspects, you know, I always like to think about is like, you know, what other use cases are happening. So, you know, many of you, you know, obviously, you know, have professional aspirations. So it's like, okay, well, I understand why I might be using this in a learning environment. What are the other core use cases for a platform like this? Well, I think that one is, you know, you're seeing it in the what I call the white collar workforce. So consulting firms, financial services institutions, et cetera, on client engagements are, you know, increasingly using this as a place to actually kind of do work. We're actually seeing a huge groundswell of people who are now using this type of a platform to sell in a very collaborative format. So in the past, right, you know, a salesperson would come in with a slide deck, they'd plug in their computer, they'd make the presentation, and she or he would be done. Well, now it's like, let's really like understand kind of what are the things that make you tick? What are the things that are keeping you up at night? What are the aspects? And let's actually work on this together. And let's talk about what that future state could be. And let's work on that together. So companies, not Mural, but companies that use Mural are using this platform to effectively dive deeper with their customers or prospects. Strategy and planning, brainstorming and ideation, right? Research and design, remote collaboration, and meetings and workshops. As a team, you may think about, gosh, like, how do we just want to start each day with some sort of a exercise or stoke? Well, again, you know, we're lucky with Mural that if we came back here and wanted to start a brand new mural, because we were just getting like all started right now, and I'd say warm-ups. You know, we have a whole template library of activities, and one could be this, again, just very, very simple warm-up of where, you know, where is everybody in the world? Or you could change it to what the most extreme location you've had the pleasure of visiting. Or you could do, you know, time we choose, encouraging groups to build into their innovation engine. That idea of like, how am I going to start the meeting off right and get people in the right framework or mindset. Ultimately, I think about what is really again something that I've been lucky to be in innovation projects at, again, some of these tremendous companies like Google and SAP and Verizon. And one of the things that I really think that there's a premium for great facilitators. So not everyone feels naturally equipped out of the box, just not trained or built for that. One of the things that Mural tries to do is really adjust for that and give people a greater kind of set of tools at their hands to be able to really drive to, like, kind of having those what we call superpowers. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So one here would be, I have this ability to run a timer. So I can keep, us on track for the next 3 minutes. We are going to stay focused and on time on going through this section. Obviously, you've been seeing me use religiously this outline functionality. It's a great way to keep your big super mural, which again, if we zoom back out, like, there's a lot of spaces here, and it can get a little bit of motion sickness if we're just falling around. But instead, I can just click over here and I go right to this facilitation superpower section. I can furthermore use the ability of here running a voting session. I could start a voting session asking people what is their favorite superpower. And I could change this to 1 vote. And I could begin to vote, and I could say, what, my favorite one is the hide and reveal. So I can double click on that. There you go. So it sees that little vote. I only see that vote. My fellow participants wouldn't see that vote. And then I kind of bring this voting session to a conclusion. And I can see that there's the voting results. I could run another poll. I could see, a great way to cascade ideas and really narrow and zoom in at a synthesis stage of a project and focus on what might be the biggest factor. And then finally, two final things to actually add. One is around hide and reveal and celebrate. So I'm going to talk about hide and reveal. So sometimes there are sections here that I just, if I were to share this mural with you all, I just am not ready to share this with everybody. So as the facilitator, I can hide it, keeps it here in the outline. People might know something's coming here, but I can keep people's attention on other areas of the mural until we're ready to reveal this phase. So it's a really nice way of keeping things organized. And finally, we just added this in there, this latest element. We tend to like to find ways to celebrate. Usually these kind of projects, they deserve a bit of celebration. So we just integrated with a little bit of confetti, and the nice part is no cleanup is required. So those are some of the ways that we've been really thinking about how do we help people who may have been on the fence or just really reticent to embrace facilitating and leading these projects, and trying to make that easier so we can have more of those what we call next generation imagination workers. So I wanted to show a couple more elements, and then what I was hoping to do, if people wouldn't mind in the chat, is if I was looking for a couple of volunteers to participate in a little game that we'd have. Their time's up. I need to move from this. So that was a little nice little. So if you're comfortable in doing that, message me if you wouldn't mind in using the chat functionality in Zoom, and would love to have a couple of volunteers for a upcoming game. I'll just leave it at that. It's a little bit of a hide and reveal. Nobody will have to go on camera or anything like that, but would love to have a volunteer or two. Thank you, Arahant. I appreciate that. Couple things. So people often ask is like, how are platforms like this organized? And it's very similar to what you're seeing in Google with Google Drive or others. But ultimately, when a user creates they can create a workspace. They can be a member of multiple workspaces, and inside those workspaces are rooms. You can have private rooms, you can have open rooms. These are ways in which people ultimately store their murals, and that's what we're looking at. So no limit to the number of rooms, number of murals your workspace can have. That is really up until up to you, and as you create your own workspaces. But ultimately, what we are finding more and more people doing is the idea of like, I just need some space where I can get creative and get productive with a group of colleagues. And that's what the way we organize it. And people in Mural can be members, they can be guests or visitors. And I wanted to show this not because we're making this a sales pitch, but ultimately, thank you for the few people that are invited. I'm going to invite you three as visitors to this mural. And I'm going to just grab over here the link to this step over here. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to send, I guess I have to send it to everybody here. Sadesh, there we go. That is, please join me, and Arahant. So there we go. You three, I just invited you, as you can see here on my screen share, to the mural. So welcome. And I'm going to ask everybody as they arrive. Visiting Penguin is here. Thank you, Visiting Penguin. So Visiting Penguin and others, as you join, I'm going to summon everyone here to this part of the screen. I welcome Anonymous Spider, Visiting Spider. You can come over here to one of these yellow sticky notes that I'm pointing at and type your name. Type your name on one of the available sticky notes, and we're going to play a little bit of a game here. So grab a sticky note. Should be able to grab a sticky note and type your name. Is it not functioning? Okay. I've seen you hovering over.
Not able to write in it.
User fail on my part. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do that one more time. I shared you a view only link. My error. I have most. So we'll do that one more time. Arahant.
Ward, there's a fourth volunteer who's raised his hand, Prakash.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
That's all. Sadesh. And then who? Sorry, who was the last person? Who raised
Prakash.
their-
Prakash, share your name in the chat mode, please.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Prakash, thank you. Perfect. All right, perfect, Prakash. There you go. All right. So Prakash, if you'll join me on one of these stickies, that would be great. And everyone's gonna get a little grab a yellow sticky here. I'll summon everybody, I think, to make sure. Perfect. We've got Visiting Goat, Visiting Spider, Visiting Panda. All right. Okay, so the challenges here we're going to see is in order here. It's called obstacle runs. This is a great way for people to get familiar with Mural. So Sadesh, I'm gonna actually split you off here. I'm gonna bring you down to team 2, and I'm gonna be a super helper. It wouldn't be fair if I was just. So Sadesh will be part of team 1. Arahant, great. I'm gonna make you team 3 if that's okay. Do you finish typing your name? I think you need to unclick your name for a second, Arahant, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you very much. So Arahant is team 3, wonderful. So again, we're gonna see how much in I'll give ourselves 5 minutes, and we'll all get to watch this and can have a good laugh here as we try to get through as much of this obstacle course, I'll add, as possible. So you start off here with add an image for your location. So you're going to come over here if you're looking on the Zoom, and I might choose Menlo Park, CA. So if you click the little the image button on the far left of your screen, you could hopefully grab something that would look like this. And I will just throw in there like something like this. So you can, there you go. Somebody did a baseball stadium. I love it. I'm jealous of that person. There we go. Oh my gosh. All right. Somebody is in, I don't even know where that is. That's spectacular. So as you do that first step, then you fall to the next phase here, which is to add a blue sticky with your roll. I love it. You've got a circle sticky. Well done.
Team 2 is the India gate, I think. I mean, from what I can make out from the thumbnail.
India gate, yeah, that looks. So, all right, what's got? Make sure we didn't lose everybody here on the board. All right. So you can click on this blue sticky here, Vatsal, and type in what your role would be. Faculty, superstar, musician, whatever that might be. Sleeper. All right. All right. We got some entertainer folks here. So it helps when I unlock. So it makes it a little challenge. Now you can unlock. See, so yeah, you guys are catching up. I like this. Now we're in real time. So the next, once you. All right. So this one, Sidesh, I'll show you here. So if Sidesh wanted to edit this, he could click on this right here, and he could change the format to a circle sticky note, and boom, Sidesh, we're in a circle sticky mode. Arhan will do the same thing here. You can do that. Maybe if you saw that, you can go over to hover over it. You'll see a little like box with 2 arrows pointing in the right. It'll be a switch type. And we switch type. There we go. So Vatsal, can you change your sticky from a square to circle? You're already good. You change this color. All right, find a company logo. Let's get the MIT ID one while we're at it. I mean, none of this baseball shenanigans, unless you're working secretly. Is that the Cincinnati Reds? I don't know. I mean, my goodness. All right. So for those watching at home, I'm doing this here below Team 3 to give a demonstration. So I just changed that from a square to a circle. I'm going to change this purple box by coming over here to the purple color format. Choose a nice orange. I'm going to find the Mural logo. We only have 1 minute left. I think Vatsal might win this. It just depends on if he's able to pull a company logo here. Visiting goat, nice work, Arhat, nice work. All right, add a pink line to the box. That's in the drawing tool, or you can come over to the shapes and connectors, which is the box right underneath the sticky note. Oh, nice job, that's all, I like it. Sidesh, I'm gonna help you out here with a little circle love, because we're all one team. There we go. Oh my gosh, that is very adorable. All right, 5. the pink line. Anybody else get the pink line? 3, 2, 1. Time is up. So, well done. Again, there's a whole host left of this obstacle course. You guys, for a first-time group, I am extraordinarily impressed. That is a lot more productivity, but I'm not surprised given the audience that has been assembled. So, well done. So last thing I'll just say, we have a whole host of resources, and I'm going to jump over here to learn more about Mural. And ultimately, I'll put my email address in the chat for anybody that would like to follow up with me directly before we turn over to questions. But there's a couple places. One is mural.co/education, where you can learn more about our education offerings, and or just has questions or areas of interest to dig in further. My email address free. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll turn it over here to ask Q&A in the question answer part of Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ward. I think we'll take this opportunity to understand firsthand from the people who are using Zoom, Mural rather. Arihant, how was your experience? And if you would please come forward with a few questions.
Yeah, sure, Priya. It was like really nice. I mean, the interface is really interactive and you can do a lot of things on Mural. And I really like the framework part that you can just select a framework, or whether you have to ask, you have to conduct an interview, or you have to make any research artifact, I guess. That was a very great part for me. Yeah, so.
Thanks so much. How about Vatsal?
I have a question. Suppose like we are going to do brain dumping sessions and we have 8 participants, and we want everyone to contribute 5 ideas, but we don't want everybody to see others' idea on a sticky note. So how can that be?
Great question. So if you're asking people to do truly private work, and because there's either an area of the mural, for example, that what I tend to encourage people to do is you're probably going to want to have each student be working off their own mural and then using screen sharing or whatnot, or perhaps sharing links with their classmates or instructors or colleagues after the fact. There isn't a way within Mural that I can partition part of a mural to be private to one person while another group of people are working on it. It's not currently scoped in the product. We've heard a little bit about it, but mostly times if it's truly like private work that's being done for evaluation purposes or really just to make sure that there isn't a kind of a one person hogging the spotlight, we encourage those facilitators to basically set up each of those individuals or small teams with their own mural to do that work.
I also have a question, like most of the companies nowadays are jumping on Mural, and they also want to do their own personalization on the artboard. Like suppose a participant is participating in 3 other companies, all the artboard looks same, and company wants to change those artboards to look like their own branding or something.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, in the same way you and I log into Microsoft Word or to Google Slides, and the GUI looks the same, so the general user interface looks the same. Inside the templates and documentation, fonts, etc., that may operate can be very obviously specific to our different organizations. Similarly with the Mural, while we have a series of baked templates, those are for mostly organizations either early stage or small teams, right, that don't have the resources. When we're talking about IBM, and IBM, 70,000 IBM employees, I think, have been active within the last, I don't know, 3 months, I believe is the number in Mural. So in that case, IBM has a very custom set of templates and frameworks that they use so that it wouldn't look like, oh, like when IBM's presenting and then SAP's coming and presenting in a similar sales motion, they're going to look the same. So absolutely. I mean, there are, again, very, very, company or even at a department or team level specific templates that are created by super users, either, consultants or employees to make that work more their own.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
Thank you for the question.
Thanks, Vatsal. How about Sudesh?
Hi. I like that interface of finding an image. It's very simple and it's like very quick to find an image and a template kind of thing. I had a question. If I like hide a space, like hide that one thing on it, so who else can see it actually? Is there any concept as host and the visitor, or like who can hide that and who else can see it?
Great question. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so you can get a little bit better sense of this. So let me just pull back up here. My Zoom settings. There we go. All right, share my screen. So yeah. So when it comes time to if I understood your question properly, and I apologize if I missed this, so please stop me. In terms of who can see the outline, of course, everybody can see the outline. Who can edit the outline, that is limited to me as a facilitator by this little star, or you can see up here the star facilitator. There may be other people here inside of this mural, right, that are either my colleagues or, that are members or perhaps a shared mural owner with me. Those people, by default, don't necessarily have facilitator rights to be able to manage that outline. So I would need to give them that right here in this administrative section. And then any member could be able to do the same. And then once obviously that area is detected, as I share with other members or guests or visitors, and if I wanted to just come through and just hide everything, any of my other facilitators could, of course, come in and unhide that content,
Okay.
And work on it and modify it and maybe move the order around if they wanted to or something along those lines. But anybody that was joining as a general member or visitor or guest couldn't do that. So I hope that helps demonstrate a little bit more.
Thank you.
So thank you. What that was a set of questions coming in from diverse paths, I think. We have Arihant and Vatsal who passed out from the innovation program this year. And we had Siddesh who's just joining in, right, for the course in the coming year. And one is building his brand, another one working for a technology company, a well-established brand, and the third one just starting out. So I think it was a great time that I'm sure that they had tinkering around with Mural, and of course, with you here to guide them with their queries. We've also got, yeah, sure.
Thank you. No, again, I appreciate them being active participants. Again, it's really dull, especially for this is much longer than a period that I would typically like to speak. So I'm super grateful for their willingness to participate. But I do see these questions coming in. So yeah, it would be helpful if we should go through those before the time elapses.
Right. So we'll take this last one question from Akshay Jalal. He's from Amdocs. In Mural, do we have any of the ideation techniques or just predefined templated are added to be used? This is more to understand that while conducting design thinking session, a lot of people need different ways to run ideation.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of, there are both templates and frameworks that come, again, pre-built to help share with you. I'll share my last time because I think it's helpful to see this because not everybody is a super Mural user. But if I come here into my workspace and I go to the templates, like the specific categories of what I'm trying to look for. So again, I could be looking for icebreakers or learn more about a problem or understand who I'm designing for. In this case, if I was trying to do a brainstorm or ideation, I might pull up these different models that come from different partners of Mural that have contributed, again, templates for us to be able to use. And then ultimately, we as Mural have, create our own custom ideation concepts that might live in this, again, Mural sales template library. But again, each of the times you're coming in as a user, and if you have access to create a Mural, you can pull in from any of these templates. And then similarly, if I come back to this and start from scratch and add a blank Mural, just come right here. Apologies for that. I can look for frameworks. Sorry about that, but I'll pull from the design. I might use some of my kind of, I don't know, I might use this as an innovator compass to actually work through a quick flow. Sorry, I didn't remember what the name of this specific framework was. So yeah, so I would say most people start off with a template, either one from a pre-baked version brought by a partner or from something that they've created within their team, and then ultimately may use some of our existing frameworks to help kind of, again, shepherd the process in this part of that. So I hope that helps. And I also see that there was a question around, can we have 2 Mural boards? Yeah, you can have multiple Mural boards at the same time from the same facilitator account. So I could be running concurrent activities on multiple tabs here within Mural of my Chrome and be running a facilitator at the same time. So you can have 2 facilitators at different parts of the world doing it on the same board, or you can be on multiple different boards at the same time as well.
So there's a response from Akshay. Thanks a lot for answering. This helps. And I see a lot of predefined templates and also that about adding new templates. That's in the chat mode.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And it's really easy. Like, again, I'll just do one last screen share here while you're seeing the screen. So if I was really happy with what we did here and I cleaned it up, etc., I might quickly publish this as a template to say, okay, next time I'm onboarding a new group, template, and I could publish this template to my workspace, and I would have access to it again in the future. So, yeah. So thank you very much. I know we're up at time, and like to allow everybody to have a good big day ahead of them. So everybody, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share a little bit about me and my journey and Mural. And if I can be of any help, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thanks. Special thanks to our guest speaker innovator for his time and sharing the value add takeaways from his journey. In true virtual life mode, we request Ward to accept a small token of our gratitude, the certificate of recognition. We would just like to share the screen.
Very appreciated. Thank you so much. Unexpected. I'm very grateful. So thank you. Thank you, Priya and team.
Well, we're trying to do what we could, right? We would have loved to hand it over to you in person, but in the current pandemic situation, this is the best that was safely and digitally possible.
Well, we'll do it in person in due time once the vaccine comes. So
sure.
Everybody stay healthy. Thank you guys all.
Sure. So next, we'd like to invite you all to our next session today, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's about innovation essentials, always be learning. First Movers MIT ID Innovation Program strategically partnered with LinkedIn Learning as an optimal onboarding tool in the virtual era, by which students can upgrade their business from Ms. Ritu Pal and Mr. Anshuman Mishra. Please register in case you haven't yet. We encourage you to connect with us via our social channels to know more about the MIT ID Innovation Program and upcoming engagements and online courses. For those interested in becoming top-notch innovators, we invite you to explore our courses, which will fast-track your career path. So log on to www.mitidinnovation.com to kickstart your innovation journey with MIT ID Innovation Program. Let's learn, innovate, lead. Yours innovatively, Priya Dhawan signing off. Stay connected, stay safe. Thank you, Ward, once again. And everyone, keep innovating every day.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Ward. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank you,
time
Ward.
and sharing the insights. Thank you.